Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here today with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, David. How are you doing tonight?
Good. I want to thank our mutual friend Colin Ruddle. He gave you tickets last week and me tickets this week. And you took your wife last week. I took my wife Lily this week. Excellent. And we had a fantastic time. It was very nice to be there. Especially as the game went along and things got better for the Oilers. It's a very interesting game, hard-fought game. 4-2 for the Oilers in the end. This is our two good things, two bad things, and two numbers podcast. Bruce, we'll start it off with your good thing.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to go with the 2-2 goal about 7 minutes into the third period on a Edmonton power play. The second power play of the game, David, and it was, second power play goal of the game to tie it up. Both were tying goals. And this one was, to me, a real game turner in conjunction. Well, the game turned on a sequence of events in a very few minutes here, but the 2-2 goal that tied it impressed me as being the best hockey in terms of the just the class in which Edmonton's power play converted this goal. And one of the forwards, and I'm not quite sure which one, but maybe Draisaitl, just because of where he wound up, won the puck on the near boards after one failed thrust, and was able to get the puck back to Tyson Barrie at the blue line. And Barrie, under heavy pressure, was able to just drop a long pass along the blue line to where Connor McDavid was able to pick it up. And McDavid, that was more than just your routine distribution by Barrie. I thought he made an exceptional play there to keep the puck onside and in Edmonton's possession and on the right stick, meaning McDavid. So to me, this was a goal where all five guys on the power play got and deserved a credit for contributing to the goal. McDavid dangled in with it and went around behind the net and around to the opposite face-off circle with puck in possession. And then he found this narrow seam right across the slot between the defenders and the forwards, and it was maybe a meter wide, the passing lane. And McDavid zipped this pass right through there, right onto the tape of Nugent Hopkins. He just, he held the puck until the moment the lane opened, and zipped right onto Nugent Hopkins' stick. And Nuge, bless him, he made the identical pass right through the exact same lane the other way. Like the lane barely moved as the Flyers were reacting and the goalie was reacting to the first pass. And Nuge just zipped it right back across the same lane. Of course, McDavid has left the scene by then because he was moving the whole time. And instead, in comes Draisaitl to receive the pass, hold it for a split second, and roof it under the crossbar, where Carter Hart had absolutely no prayer of making the stop. And it was just a beautiful execution. And just to add several cherries on the Sunday, it was McDavid's 800th career point, Draisaitl's 700th career point, and Nugent Hopkins' 70th point of the season, which is, it's a nice round number, but what it is for him is a new career high. He's never hit 70 points before. So it was a milestone for all three guys, statistical milestone on the same goal. Now, that's something you don't see very often. I remember that one time in Philadelphia when Glenn Anderson scored his 400th goal on an assist by Mark Messier, which was his 1,000th point. And those are both official NHL milestones: 400 goals, 600 assists, 1,000 games played, 1,000 points. Those are the milestone. And so they had to share. I think they cut the puck in half, Mess and Andy, after that one. But this one was all three guys. I mean, sort of not quite as, they're not the milestones as recognized, but, nice round numbers. So what a way to do it. And then, of course, the game turned there, could have turned back when Skinner made a fantastic save of basically the same caliber as that one save that Jack Campbell made in the third period against Detroit, a game I attended. after he hadn't had all that good of a game. But boy, did he make at least a point saving stop in the third period. And this was in that category. And then, of course, a few minutes later after that, the Oilers manufactured the winner and played it out to the end. But
yeah, Owen Tippett got that shot, and he can shoot.
He got a few.
He did the right thing in shooting fast. I mean, that's, I think, the primary requisite on that kind of rushing play is to shoot it fast and on net.
Mm-hmm.
He did both those things, but he needed to get it up because Skinner's pad, like I was thinking, oh, he shot it right at Skinner. But when I watched the replay a few times, it was like Skinner's pad got over there really fast. Like that was, Skinner made up for the first goal against on that one. Mm-hmm. Bruce, yeah, that goal that you singled out quite rightly was one of the greatest goals of the year. The level of skill.
Loved it.
I don't think I've seen that kind of offensive movement since, Iniesta, Xavi, and Messi were passing the ball around for Barcelona. It was unbelievable. Like 2 cross seam passes in a row with
same seam,
high level of difficulty. Yeah, they're minding that seam. It was like Phil of Mithril. Mandatory Lord of the Rings reference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a tremendous play, and you're right to single out Tyson Barrie. He had a really good game.
Yep.
And this segues into my good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia, this was a very frustrating game and an odd game in a lot of ways because the Oilers couldn't get anything going. What did they have? 10 shots after the first 2 periods, so it was some minuscule number.
Yes.
And it wasn't the Oilers weren't trying, because they were trying. They wanted to win this game and they were working, but they couldn't make anything go. And not all their passes were great, but mostly it was because Philadelphia was forcing them, and they were covering the open man. They were covering the guy who was going to get the pass. So you just couldn't make the easy pass. There was no easy passes to be had for the Oilers. And the Flyers just they were on them, playing a disciplined defensive hockey game. One of the best defensive hockey games I've seen. And this is impressive for a team that's out of it, to be working so hard on defense. So credit to them.
John Tortorella, eh?
Yeah, credit to John Tortorella. But, players like Tyson Barrie kept working. Nugent Hopkins kept working. McDavid was working. I mean, he hit the post on that shorthanded.
Oh, man.
And this they couldn't get a break. The Oilers couldn't get a break. Fogle was working hard. Kulak. Philip Broberg was really solid on defense. Like, he's they can't get around that guy because he's so big and lanky and he's such a good skater. Like, he doesn't really impress yet offensively. He's quite cautious, but he was working. Darnell Nurse was playing his heart out. He hit the post. McDavid hit the post. He hit the post, hit the crossbar, and finally they got a break. And the break was, I think, Draisaitl hit the post. The break was a 4-minute penalty call. I can't remember who it was who got slashed in the face. Was it Shore?
Devin Shore.
But it was a nasty slash.
Oh, he was bleeding like a stuck pig.
It was a very nasty play. And I'm not saying it's, you're cheering for your guy to get cut, but it does end up in a 4-minute penalty. And I think that gave the Oilers just that level of confidence where they didn't have to rush it. They didn't have to force it. They could they're thinking, okay, we got 4 minutes. We're going to score. Let's just do our thing. Mm-hmm. And that was the break in a way that they needed, was that 4-minute penalty call. And they got it. And after that, they started to make their own breaks. I mean, McDavid's goal, that goal was obviously the Barcelona goal, is a spectacular thing that the Oilers are able to do more than any other NHL team, at least on the power play. Then McDavid, the puck starts pinballing around, and at other times it just didn't go to the right place. But this time it went to McDavid at the side of the net. The pinball ended up there, and he bumpered it into the net, like on pinball when you hit those bumpers. He just gave it the bumper shot, and it went in. I'm not sure if it went off the goalie or the defenseman, but one of the two, and it went in. And
I think. The bumper, by the way, the last one that you haven't seen properly yet, was a phenomenal no-look pass, backhand pass by Leon to Connor. Leon fished the puck out of that mess, and without looking, he just tucked it behind his back and right onto the stick of 97 at the edge of the crease. He tried to hit Hyman on the far side of the crease who was charging in for the usual Hyman arrival on the doorstep, and the puck bank took a friendly bounce finally and went in. So McDavid, he almost looked rueful, and it was his second goal in 9 games, which is a tremendous long drought for that guy. And I think I already had 2 goals on his last 46 shots, so he really had hit a dry spell. But he got that bounce, and
after he hit the post, he was pretty disconsolate. Like you could see, like that hurt. And then so the first break was the slash in the face that led to a 4-minute penalty, which is that helps. And then Hyman, when he gets crashed into the goalie, it was an obvious cross check of him into the goalie, and that's why Draisaitl. So it's the second break they got because Draisaitl's goal wasn't called back, even though Hyman got in Carter Hart's way on the play, and then they get a bounce on the McDavid goal. They get another bounce on McDavid's empty net goal because when he ices the puck, I think it hits when it lands. He lofts it through there and it lands on an edge, but it goes in the right direction. And although I wouldn't put it past Connor to be able to spin the puck in from any which way he so chooses, like he's Minnesota Fats with that puck. He can make it bounce and spin and do whatever he wants. But
did you see that one the other day when he lobbed one from behind the icing line right over the net and it landed in the blue paint? Just a little flip pass right over the cage.
I don't
went down into the blue paint, and then it got kind of whacked away before anything came out of it. But it was deliberate and kind of unbelievable.
So lots of good efforts in that game, lots of and great leadership from McDavid because he never gave up. He willed his team. He was the captain in that game, and he deserves credit. We've been criticizing him. I've been criticizing him in recent games for this, that, and the other thing. But man, he really took his team to victory in that game. So he was part of it. Bruce, let's move on to your bad thing.
Bad thing. You know what? You go first this time.
All right.
I'm so excited about good things that I will have one, but I'll listen to yours and then I'll take my turn.
Well, I'm going to take the second goal against. Okay. The first goal against could also be one, but I'm going to take the second goal against, and I'm picking it specifically because there was it was a lack of concentration, a lack of focus, particularly on the part of two veteran players on this play, that I think has really there's been too much of this on the Oilers, and there wasn't a lot of it tonight. They buttoned it down pretty good. They were all working very hard, and they generally did their jobs defensively. But on this play, there's no reason in the world this has to be a goal against, Bruce. If Cody Ceci just makes a good first pass. And instead of doing that, instead of passing it to Philip Broberg's stick, he passes it behind him to his skate. He doesn't have to pass. He could have gone behind the net. No one was on him. There was no need to rush that pass. And he just didn't execute a basic pass. Hit him on the tape so he can make the play. That was a really bad play by Cody Ceci. And, he's my spirit Oiler. The guy... when I play beer league hockey, I'm kind of like the Cody Ceci of my team, like just a defenseman who doesn't do much, but tries to at least be in the right spot defensively.
Get in the way, right?
Get in the way. I get in the way now and then. Cody Ceci does that. I like this player. I root for this player, but that was a bad pass. And then Hyman, is it Tippett? Tippett's charging up the ice. Hyman has a step on him, and all Zach Hyman has to do is hustle and get on the right side of the player, take away the shot. And Zach Hyman doesn't hustle. He lets the hunger of the goal scorer take precedence over his hunger to defend, and that's why there's a goal there, because he doesn't cover Tippett, even though he was in good position to do so. He failed. Ceci also blew, like he didn't even block the pass. Like it
was in the red light zone, wasn't it?
First he was wandering in the red light zone. First he blows the pass, and then he's wandering in the red light zone. It goes right by him. He's not even aware of where Tippett is. He should be at least aware of where the major passing lane is going to be and block that. But so two veteran players, I thought, really let down the Oilers. Philip Broberg also lost the battle, right?
Yeah,
but he gets the puck on. He lost the battle too. He's part of the sequence of pain.
Yep.
and he made a major mistake on a goal against. But he was the least of the culprits on that one by a country mile, because those are two veteran players, and they got to do better than that. So that's my bad.
You saw the same goal I did, David. I was scoring the scoring chances this game, the job you usually do. But because you were at the game, I was doing it, and I scored it as a bad pass or a missed assignment. I left it up for you to decide against CC. It's kind of both of those things, a turnover and then what he did after. A lost battle for Broberg and an allowed shot by Hyman. So that's exactly the things that went wrong in that sequence. And to Philly's credit, they executed. And to Philly's credit, 86 on Philly. Joel Farabee made a fantastic play. That was going to be an icing without his terrific effort to get a piece of the puck on its way into the zone. And then he just went to the bench on a line change, and the fresh guys came over the boards and produced the goal. But that was some good sharp hockey by them to create the chance, and then they executed that chance. That was one goal that was not on Stuart Skinner, which is going to be my bad thing. If I had my stuff together, we could have done this in order. The first Philly goal was a bad thing. And it was just kind of a nothing play along the boards in the defensive zone. And the puck just went around the backboards, and Leon, I didn't even think he was in a bad position. He just, the play kind of went in a different direction, and it looked like it was going to go. So the guy slipped behind him, and Leon tried to cut out the pass, but he couldn't quite get his stick in the right position. And the guy just, now this guy was that big Cates. Noah Cates. And he took the puck behind the net. He's a great big guy, eh? And he just came around the side of the net, took the puck right into the middle of the goal crease, and then just wrapped it home through the pads of Stu Skinner. And all this time, I'm going, "Where's your stick, Stu? What are you doing with your stick?" Like when the puck comes into the crease like that, you need to be using it at the point of entry to sort of, as a defensive maneuver, poke check the guy, or get in the way. Or second thing is have it down between your knees when the other guy is shooting, and his stick was over behind him, slow coming over. And I attributed it immediately, and I think correctly, to rust for Skinner, who's been sick for days, and I'm not sure how much ice time, practice time he had. He hasn't played a game since the game in Montreal almost 10 days ago. And he just was a little slow to react on that play, and he just got beat by a hungry player. But it was, definitely a mistake on the part of the goaltender. And I call that one a missed assignment, because, it's definitely a grade A shot from where he shot it from, 2 feet from the goal line in the middle of the goal crease. It's not like he was wrapping it from the side. He took it right around in front, but I just thought it was poorly defended in 2 different ways by the goalie, not trying to intercept the puck in the sweep around in front, and just not proactive enough, and then beaten because, again, his stick was not in the spot to help out. So tough start for Stu, and he made up for it with that save. He did stop in the third period at the crucial time. So
wraparound shots go in about 10-15% of the time. Like, they're not that dangerous, and there's exceptions to that. If the goalie is way on the other side and has to move fast, and it's a really fast player, and he can take it to the middle of the net. This was not one of those exceptions. He should have easily made this save. It was a 10% shot at best, and he just blew it. And
so you see it as a B shot?
Yeah, I think if you look at wraparound shots, my experience with, because I went into this thinking wraparound shots are always grade A shots, like years ago, and then I started marking them grade A shot, grade A, and then you just realize they hardly ever go in. So there'd be these players who would rack up tons of grade A shots, and I'm thinking, like, why am I giving them credit for grade? Like, they're not grade A shots because they never score on them. So I just think if you looked at the totality of
Right.
wraparound shots, you get about 10 to 15% of them going in. And for a grade A shot, it's got to be 20%. It's almost always a goalie error when it goes in, I feel. And if Stu had his stick in the right spot
Yeah.
to knock that off, or even just it was just like
disrupt him, you know.
he just needed it between his, like you say, like in the butterfly, right? Like
Yeah.
he's going to stop that because he didn't even have to move that fast. So I didn't like.
Right.
Oh God,
Yeah.
that was a very painful moment, Bruce.
Well, the note I left for you is I couldn't decide if it was a 5 alarm shot or a grade B shot, like the full
That's it.
range. Because
Yeah.
to me, a wraparound is dangerous when they do get the puck back above the icing line and then they have an angle to make a clean shot on net, as opposed to just trying to jam it in at the post and hoping it bounces in off the goalie. And quite often they panic and they release the shot before they even get to the line. But he was able to not only get it to the line, but he was able to pull it right into the crease and then pound it home. So in terms of where he shot it from, it's 5 alarm. But so
Yeah,
it's kind of one of those weird ones. So I'll let you have another look at it from that perspective. But like I say, I wasn't even sure how to score it. It was a grade B opportunity that turned into a grade A plus shot because of the way the guy was just allowed to bowl the puck right into the blue paint.
I see what you're saying, Bruce. Yeah, it comes down to Skinner was just had a stick in the wrong spot. He should have snuffed that out quite easily before it developed. Because again, it wasn't the case where he's just scrambling to get across the net as you sometimes see.
Right.
He was in position and he just missed it. Oh well, all's well that ends well. And as you say, I mean that save that he made, that was unbelievable. I thought it was in for sure, the Tippett shot. And he kept that out. So all is forgiven, Stu Skinner.
Yeah, they interviewed him after the game about that save, and he was sort of berating himself on both goals. He thought he should have had both goals, which I sure didn't blame him much on the second one. But the first one, yeah, that was on him.
Well, it's a tough position, right? Like, imagine.
Tell me about it.
Imagine coming back. He did have the flu, and rest. So he's coming back. And the first real chance shot they get, he has to make a save on a wraparound. It's not, it's not easy. You gotta execute, and he muffs it, and he lets it in. And it's 1-0, right? You're behind again. The Oilers are behind again. The same old story. And I was just thinking, like, man, you just have to, like, these goalies in the NHL must be psychologically strong to put that behind you, to stay in the moment, to focus, to forget about it, and to muster up your best game after that. And I thought he did. He succeeded in that. And he seems to have that mindset, that strong mentality that you see in the best goalies. I think he's going to be
the one.
I think when the Oilers win the Cup, Bruce, he's going to be in net. That's my guess. All right. Numero. What is your number, Bruce?
Okay, I'm going to let you go first again, David, because you're all ready to roll. I know it.
Well, I had said previously that this was the captain leading his team to victory. And that is very clearly seen in his scoring line, all the numbers that come together for McDavid and how he led the team. So he led the team in time on ice, 25-59. 26 minutes he played. That led the entire team. And let me see, next best is 22-27, Zach Hyman. He led the team tied for the lead in shifts with Draisaitl 24 each. He was the top even strength player at 1907. He led the team in shots. He had 9 shots, Connor McDavid did. And the next highest player had 3. There was 3 guys tied for 3. McDavid had 9 shots. He had 1 misfire. He led the team in giveaways, which shows how much I think he was working to make plays and how tenacious was Philadelphia in checking him. Like they were really on him and not giving him a lot of room. So he did lead in giveaways. And then there's a stat that sometimes I think is indicative of how hard a player is working in battles. And that's faceoffs. And he was 13-3 in the dot, 81%. And that's really, really good. That's just, obviously that's fantastic in the NHL. And Draisaitl was 10-4. But I just think he he was out there battling hard all night long, and he carried that into the face-off circle, where the Oilers, you have noted recently, Bruce, have lost a lot of games because of goals off face-offs.
I got
And
two.
maybe he's thinking the same thing. I'm just not going to let that happen. Like, I'm going to win my face-offs. There's a couple of face-offs in the third period where I'm thinking, oh no, it's coming now. And I don't know if they won those face-offs or not. I can't recall, but he won his share of battles and face-offs. He just had a really great game. Oh, and I missed the two other categories. He led the team in goals with 2 and points with 3. So Draisaitl also had 3 points to tie in that regard. So the two top scorers in the NHL led their team to victory. I think Mark Spector wrote a column where he said more was needed out of McDavid and Draisaitl. I think Mark was right in that column, and they delivered. The two best players in the NHL just delivered the game that their team needed from them that night. McDavid now has 105 points in 58 games. Leon Draisaitl the second. Is this accurate? Is Nugent Hopkins? No, this. I see. I got it flipped up. McDavid 105 and 58. Draisaitl 85 points in 56 games, and Nikita Kucherov 80 points in 56 games is in third place. Nugent Hopkins, he's third in power play points. Actually,
Right.
He is now 12th in NHL scoring with 70 points in 58 games. So, Bruce, what is your number?
Yeah, I'm going to just have to default to 2, which is key in 2 things. 2 points for the win. So that's the first time in 5 games the Oilers have been able to cop both points available to them. And it's also the first time in 6 games that they were able to hold an opponent to 2 goals or fewer, and they needed to, because really tonight they only generated 3. Of course, they got the nice 150-foot lob empty netter from McDavid that kind of sent people home happy, but the 2 goals against, and I think pretty well earned, on the basis of defensive play. I'm looking at natural stat tricks, expected goals in all situations, and they had 3.81 for the Oilers and 1.78 for the Flyers. So if you round that, it's 4-2. Well, guess what the score was of this game? So, you could say that's a deserved win by a deserved score. They had 15-8 in high danger chances. What do we have? 18-7 for grade A. So, a 2-goal victory, even as one of them was an empty netter, was deserved. So, they held the other team to 2. They won by 2, and they got 2 points. So, I'll settle for 2 as my sort of very fundamental number.
And it's funny. I just looking at the Oilers Twitter feed. The person who they give out a vest, I guess, to their player who had, and tonight it was Devon Shore.
Yeah, I wondered.
It must be for taking that high stick.
Got smashed in the face. Well, he's a very popular teammate. I'm very glad for Devon Shore that he's gotten this last chance, and I don't think we're going to see a lot more of him. But you know what? I thought he was terrific on Sunday, and I thought he was terrific today in this game. Like he did some stuff. He made a really big shot block to end one sequence of pain. He was getting stick taps on his way to the bench and stuff. The kind of stuff that teammates notice and see the puck bounce out and you go, well, who was that? Oh, well, let's see what happens next. Well, who that was Devon Shore. And I just thought I loved his effort. And, he just seemed to be in the middle of things. And what did he play? 10 minutes and 44 seconds. A couple of shots, a couple of hits, a couple of shot blocks, takeaway. And, I just think he did what you want your 11th forward to do. And he waited a long time to get back in the lineup from his last game was New Year's Eve until Sunday. And he got bounced up and down to I think 5 times he was on the transactions list in 6 days last week. So poor guy. So he got waived and then he got assigned to Bakersfield and then he got called right back up. And then he got sent back down to Bakersfield again, and then he got emergency recall. So he was just on a yo-yo, and he responded, and you know, it's an unsung hero, but I would say maybe he deserves that vest. And I think he's a very popular teammate, and I think the team is trying to recognize him and probably sees the writing on the wall as well with the roster situation and the way it is. So good on him. He bled for his team, you know.
He has been playing better, and he's an interesting player, you know, because he has shown signs now and then of being a decent player. He really had a terrible start to the year, though, is the truth. We didn't see that player enough. And, you know, like a player like Devin Shore, though, like if he's playing for another NHL contract, he could make, you know, he could make another $1 million, right? Or whatever, you know, after taxes, whatever they make, if he can somehow find a way to hang in the league one more year, get one more contract. And it's not impossible for him to do so. He's got incredible motivation to go out there. I think, he has some skill. He's got to flash that. I think for him, the key is super solid defensive play and a bit more physical play than he engages in. But he was in the mix. He's been in the mix of it in the last couple of games. He's been battling hard. So well earned by him. I agree, Bruce. Well, let's leave it there, Bruce. I guess Kurt's doing the game grades tonight.
Nope, I'm doing them tonight.
Oh, you're doing them tonight. That's right.
Kurt's doing them Thursday. So
and I'm doing them Saturday.
I've got Saturday morning game after that. Right. So I hit the road. Pittsburgh on Thursday early evening, and then Columbus on Saturday morning. Another one of these 10:30 jobs.
Well, I'll let you get at it then. So.
All right.
Thanks for talking, Bruce.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.